As I said, the first lines to be built were the quarry lines, and this quarry line was opened in 1870. Now the line was obviously mainly for quarrying, but it was also a passenger service as well, and a passenger service ran down into Llanymynech, and so a station was added here at Blodwell, which then became Blodwell Junction with the addition of the Thanet line. The station then ended up being about half a mile away from the village, although there is a halt just to the east side of the village. Well, our starting point for the second day is Nantmawr, and we're going to go right up the top of the quarry track. We can see this better on this other map, as our starting point is there, and we're going to follow this quarry line down into Llanymynech. Well, here I am at that point on the map, and actually I wasn't expecting the track to still be here. That's a pleasant surprise. What I hadn't realised is there's a visitor centre here, which I'll have to come and visit another time when it's open. Just a little bit further down the track we can see a level crossing, which is still there. And I'm right down that level crossing now. With a donkey. At this point you can see it curving down to the right and down to the south, where it will join the line near Blodwell Junction. Well, I've just come round from that bend now, which you can see at the top, and we've got another level crossing here. Well, it's very overgrown here on the south side, but the track's still there. I've just come now to the bridge where it crosses the main road, and to the south of the bridge it joins the main line down to Blodwell Junction. Well, I've reached the main road now, and if we look back northwards at the track, we can still see the line there, right down the bottom there. Lots of undergrowth down this part, but the track's still there and you can still see it. If we come across the south side, we can once again see the track, but actually you can see some of the sleepers as well. If I zoom in, you can just see the sleepers along there. Now this quarry line proved to be very successful. Well, it was for the quarrying part, but it wasn't successful for its passenger service, and it didn't take long before the passenger service was removed, and Blodwell station ended up falling into disrepair. It was then resurrected with the addition of the Thanet line when the station was refurbished and reopened. From this bridge now I've had to make a little detour all the way around and back up again to this bridge here on the border, and now I'm not expecting to find much here because it doesnn't look as if there's much trace of the line at all. Well, I'm on that point now looking south, and as expected very little evidence of the railways ever here. But this bridge still exists. Looking on the north side, the track came down that little gorge in the middle, through that feeding trough, and under where I am now, on the north side of the ridge. Well, I've come down underneath the bridge on the north side, and I'm standing on what would have been the track. The bridge looks as if it's had some restoration work over time. It looks in pretty good condition. Well, I'm sure it was a single track down here, but this bridge rather suggests that it was a double track. There's certainly room for it. It may have been there was a siding here or a halt, I'm not sure. And that's the route pushing southwards towards Llanymynech. Now I've made my way to Llanymynech, and the line is hard to trace here, but it comes into Llanymynech and crosses the road and into the Heritage Park. Well, I'm in Llanymynech, right on the Welsh-English border, and I'm looking west, and the line came through right to me here. And you can see through the hedge where the track bed went eastwards. And to the left we have the Llanymynech Heritage Park. Well, I've come down to the other side and we've arrived in Llanymynech Heritage area. And here we can see the line going eastwards before it joins the Oswestry to Welshpool line. Now here on the board of the Heritage area we've got a nice little map of it. We're standing here right on the border between Wales here and England there, and the rest of the line comes up to here, crosses the river and joins the Oswestry to Welshpool line. We've also got here though the pitworks and the lines which joined on from there. We'll see those as we walk down the pathway. Well, I'm only going down this part of the track about 100 yards or so, because I'm fairly certain it veers to the left down in those trees in the distance. We'll go and investigate. Well, I've come about 200 yards down off that track, and actually the railway line veered off that and along this embankment in its short journey now over to the Oswestry line. Well, I've come to the west of the Heritage Park and we're getting close to the canal, which is just before the Oswestry railway line, and we can see clearly now the track bed heading towards the bridge over the canal, or what's left of the bridge over the canal I should say. Well, it's good that some of the bridge is still remaining, and in fact we've still got some of the towpath underneath for the canal where the horses would have pulled the barges. Well, there's a picture here on the board showing what it would have looked like, and we have a train pulling limestone across the canal and the barge doing the same underneath. And that's the bridge on the west side where I was standing a few moments ago. Well, I've come across onto the eastern side of the canal and I'm on the track bed, and there's only about 200 yards left of this line before it joins the Oswestry line. It's going to be impossible to get to the actual junction, but I'll go as far as I can. Well, as you can see, it's getting a bit dense now. We're only about 100 yards away. I can see the line through the trees over there, but it's just going to be impossible, I think, to actually get to the very end and find the junction itself. Well, it's been dead interesting discovering these lines over here on the Welsh borders. What has been great is actually having some lines where the track's still there. In fact, I've been amazed how much track still exists on some of these lines. It's unfortunate that some of these lines over here are not as well known as some of the more illustrious ones like the Southern Valley Railway, but no less important on the landscape and the history of Shropshire.